All right, welcome everybody. Always great to be here. And if you're like me, one of the things I'm learning and continue to learn in this past year and a half is that all well-laid plans can change in a moment. And that, we are not in control when that happens. And this is hard at first when we lay our plans and things shift and we have to change. And then psychology, which I also very much feel strongly about, is that what can we control? I've said this many times. What is in our locus of control as things are taken away from our best laid plans? So, the whole paradox there, right? And it's a process, of course, to get to the proverbial non-attachment and acceptance, which is the goal of yoga and Buddhism, as my understanding about Buddhism is, and much more steeped in yoga philosophy. But it's necessary to make progress on our path to freedom, to allow this surrendering. We're back to surrender. maybe this is more my theme that I'm bringing into the class, but I'm sure all of us have had deeper times where we've had to accept and surrender when things are really hard to accept and surrender, and especially on a collective level, and then maybe there's times in your personal life. So what yoga is inviting us to, of many things, is to allow that as best as we can and restore our connection to an enduring, vast, silent source, presence, being, divinity, whatever you call that. Can we just really empty out and allow? And for many of us, there'll be times of that, and there'll be times of, clutching and gripping. So can we respond to life with an open heart and mind, even when our plans get taken away? So that's the theme today, is allowing, accepting, surrendering, not unlike last week of, just being. So we'll start getting into the movement and the breath part on the mat, but I always like to have a theme and share that with you. So come into the mat. We're going to, of course, we're going to start like we always do with our breath practices. And this one is well, let me get on the mat to demonstrate it. But for many people, biofeedback, if we had some things connected to our heart rate and our brain states, we can actually get a readout of how the breath is calming the nervous system. And that's very helpful for people to actually see it on the screen. But yogis always knew with the breath practice, we can get that same effect without necessarily seeing it on the screen, but feeling it in our bodies. So let's go there now. And if you wanted to, you could put your hand on your pulse and basically there's going to be an increase in heart rate on the inhale and a decrease of heart rate variability on the exhale. That's the premise of a lot of the breathwork practices. So we're going to come onto our mat. Easing down, feet plugged in, and then tailbone draws down, lower back, middle back, coming onto the earth, and folding those knees in and just ironing out the back as we rock side to side. Hearing already the sound of the breath, tuning in. So I work with clients a lot on what they can control, locus of control, writing things down, what we can control, even imagining going into situations and having visual imaging to help that process. And then again, there's that other side of letting go, surrendering what we can't. So all of us are weaving in and out of that practice. We're going to place one hand on above the navel, and then the other, you're still on your back, The other hand below the navel, okay? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna exhale through the mouth. We're gonna do a 4, 5, 6 count, meaning inhale to 4, slow, 2, 3, 4, gently hold the breath, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale through the nostrils, fill your belly, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now do that again. If my pace isn't your pace, just allow it to happen, okay? The 4, 5, 6 breathing. As you're doing that internally, you're going to feel in the diaphragm the movement, the holding, and the exhalation. So I'm not sure where your pace and your timing is, but you're just counting to yourself. Inhale to 4. The holding to 5. And the exhale to 6. If the pace doesn't work for you, tweak it so that you get a 5, 6, 7 or something where you're lengthening the exhale, holding a little bit longer than the inhale. And again, to change, to move into that parasympathetic response, the parachute, the calm, rest, and digest response, you want to do this for at least 5 minutes. So when you're at your home practice, you're looking at the clock, gently just time it, and you're counting, and you're just luxuriating, especially in the letting go. So the letting go, the surrendering of what we can't control, the magic of letting go, and the beauty of the inhalation, symbolic of what we can, a locus of control in our worlds. And of course, simple things, diet, exercise, practices, just to name a few. All right. So completing the exhale, I just want to give yourself space and time to do your own pacing, your own breath with your own movement. And now we're going to draw the right knee in toward the shoulder, rotate the ankle a few times in each direction. Yeah. And then letting your knee move around as well, which will open the hip. And placing our foot in a figure 4, or half lotus. We're flexing through the right foot. We're drawing the right knee away in that triangle of space. We're reaching through, using your elbow as a wedge. Listen to the sound of the breath. Feel that core strength, okay? Belly expanding. Exhaling. You can hold, or you can just exhale, inhale, and exhale. I'm making it more audible. If you want, you can use a strap if you want more of that hamstring stretch. Opening up the hamstring and the back of the knee, stay there, or simply return to the figure 4. Feel the head to tail connection. That simple cue is going to help us in our posture on the ground, standing, and all kinds of movements, seated. And then releasing. Drawing that right knee in, this time interlock above the right ankle. That'll get into your core, low back more. You can feel that when you reach above the ankle, as opposed to the knee. And then stretching that right leg up. Reaching the arms up, palms face one another, shoulders plug in. Simultaneously stretch the arms overhead. Stretch, 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 stretch. Reach through the right arm, right leg, and then just open the wings of joy in the shoulders and descend that leg. Just tune in, thumb, index finger together, palms up, and feel especially that right side. It's that simple movement. Solar energy flow. Perhaps you're feeling it. And keep returning to the awareness of the breath. We can bring our awareness back to the breath into this present moment, again and again. That's the invitation. And we'll move to the lower side. So before we do that figure 4 hip opener, let's tune into a little bit of arc and curl, the core strength. As you inhale, dig the sacrum into the earth, the low back's off the floor, and then exhale, navel to the spine. Now, when you do this, place a hand above the navel and below the navel, and really feel that diaphragmatic breathing working, that fullness of the breath in the belly as you arc, and then the energy drawing toward the center of the navel. One more time, inhale, arc and curl. Go back for diaphragmatic awareness. Exhale, letting go. Allowing something more vast and spacious. As we draw the left knee in, rotate the ankle a few times in each direction. And the left knee circles around, that's opening the hip. And this is a lot about the second chakra, the water element. Fluidity helps us of letting go of what we can't control. So many ways to think about this. And then moving into figure 4, flexing through, drawing your knee away from the body, and that's triangle of space. We're going to reach through. You can reach underneath or on top of the knee. You can use your elbow, left elbow, to draw the knee away. You can extend that leg in a hamstring stretch or use a strap. And let's just tune into the breath as we're sensing and feeling the body. On your next inhale, if you'd like that 4 count, inhale to that. You can hold gently or you can hold the extra amount. And when it's time for you to exhale longer than the inhale, we know this is our prescription for calming the nervous system. Most of us, everybody I talked to this week are on a higher anxiety state, right? And so most of us need calming. If you're needing more energy, you know the prescription there, right? You lengthen the inhale longer than the exhale. I find that more challenging. Most people do too, but it is possible. All right, sensing and feeling, breathing. And maybe even, looking around. I mean, not moving your head totally side to side, but seeing something live in nature. If you're out there on your porch or you can see through a window, be more vast. So as we surrender, that's the invitation to move into something more vast and spacious than our own moving mind. Releasing, and goodness, drawing the left knee to the left shoulder, extending the left leg straight up, reaching to the ball of the foot, reaching the arms up, shoulders plug in, palms face one another, and then stretching the arms overhead. Once that left heel touches, stretch through the left arm, left leg. Let that right leg descend, and the wings of joy expand out. With the palms up, thumb index finger together. Yoga union of the infinite spacious self, holding the individual self. And breathing with the breath work of your choice, with more awareness on the left side, the learner, witness, observer. You can meditate on the sound of the breath, that oceanic sound, very calming. So the pranayama, is a huge part of yoga practice. And we'll continue to be aware of the breath. Again, a little bit different today. We're placing the hand below the navel and above the navel. Coming into the central channel. Belly expands. Diaphragm, heart opens, and then the exhale through the nostrils, heart. Notice where your hand feels that exhalation more so. Is it the third chakra, solar plexus? Is it the second chakra below the navel? Just breathe in, breathe in. Awakening our core and doing movement to awaken our core and keeping an awareness in the core and the strength of the core and our posture. As we press through the feet, okay, you'll feel the sacrum through the head to tail. That's head to tail connection to the crown of the head. We want to feel that elongated spine. And we want to allow ourselves to lift one leg and then the other, flex back through the toes. Place our hands gently on the base of the neck. And just do yogic aware core strengthening movements. We've done this many different ways. As we extend the right leg, we're going to draw the right elbow in that direction of the left knee, and then come back to center. You want to do this slow. Low back plugs in. That's key. Keep left leg extend. Left elbow toward the right knee. Keep the low back plugged in. I'm slowing this down on purpose. Okay. Exhale. Feel the core strength. Opposite elbow toward knee. As you come back, there's a tendency to pop that low back off the floor. Keep it rooted. Keep it grounded. Feeling back through the toes. Let's do one more. Low back plugged in, watch that it doesn't over arc. It loves to do that. Exhale through the mouth on this one. Inhale through the nostrils to close. Exhale. Great. And then inhale back. Egg beaters. Hands on the knees, inner borders of the feet together. Swirl. Those hips open. 3 times in one direction. Now keep the low back plugged in. There's a tendency that could get sloppy here too. So just feel that containment. We want the stability and containment as well as fluidity in certain areas. Happy baby, flexing back, reaching from the right corner of the abdomen over to the left. Ironing out your back body. If it feels like you want to, extend one leg and back, and then the opposite. And just do a little eye gaze around. Again, breath, sensation, visual, any of the senses will bring us back to the now. And knees in, we're going to rock and roll, give ourselves a little several rounds here. Or rocking onto your side to come up with the fingertips pointing forward. And we're going to roll onto the balls of the feet. Okay. Working those reflex points of the feet, walking one hand and the other. Knees, thighs parallel. If your neck's okay, and activate those arms and let the head go back. If there's neck issues, keep your chin tucked. Move away. And then if your head's back, you're going to draw your chin in. You're going to maybe walk your hands and your knees forward, maybe not. We're all going to meet in our forward fold Uttanasana. So we're going to have our feet hip width apart. Large toe slightly in. Walk the hands back, slight bend of the knees, resting the palms at the hollows of the elbows. Like this, shake the head out. Letting go. Again and again, letting go is key of unnecessary worries, things we can't control.
very symbolic in this posture, getting the blood flow to the brain. And then we're going to release our hands. And for those of you that can ripple up. If there's any osteoporosis, osteopenia, you want that spine straight or to come up. So work. I'm just checking. All right. In our mountain pose, a classic posture assessment, but we want to tune into our posture, of course, the whole time. So take a moment with the feet hip width apart, rooting down through the 4 points of the feet. And then that's between the large toe, second toe, the little toe side of the ball of the foot, the heel on the outer and the inner arch. So you feel grounded, supported. Now the tendency is maybe to do this with your spine. So draw that tailbone down. Some people are like this, some people are like this. So find what you tend to do. For many people, it's about drawing the tailbone slightly down. If you tend to have that, you want a little bit of an arc there, right? And then again, head to tail, lengthen up through the crown, lengthen up through the crown, shoulders knees down. Try not to collapse the chest, but just lift upward without overdoing the lumbar. And we're breathing in our standing pose, in our mountain pose. Rooting, grounding, supported, open, and union of yoga. Bring the hands, let's bring the hands, what the focus is today, below the navel, above the navel. And just notice what happens when you do the breath work with the focus here, the diaphragmatic breathing. Keep lengthening through the crown. Chin parallel is another good way to just get the cues for our posture. I don't want to think of too many things. And then offering those pairs of care as we move into our flow series, our vinyasa flow. So for me, it's just natural to bring my hands to the heart as I bring pairs of care. So if you want to stay in the diaphragmatic, you want to go into namaste, go heart mudra. As we know, there's many people that are needing pairs of care, most likely in their personal life and in the collective circumstances of our lives these days. So offering those pairs of care in any language of your heart that speaks to you. So we're sending these as we do our practice. And then the classic affirmation is awakening that consciousness, may all beings be awakened in their higher truth, okay? Not only for our own personal realization, self-realization, but for others. So the dawning of higher consciousness of the spiritual eye for all beings as we lengthen and grow. Okay, walk your feet in just a little bit more. We'll do our classic half moon, clasping the left wrist, tailbone down, arcing over to the right. It's going to be full moon in a couple days, but here we are in half moon. Strength and courage fill my body cells. Strength and courage fill my body cells. Feel the power of the affirmation. Feel that opening of the lunar side, the left side body, especially as we lengthen and grow back to center. Add those W arms, add a mini back bend here. Affirmations are wonderful for locus of control, going a little higher in our thinking, clasping our right wrist and arcing over to the left, tailbone down, and embodying the half moon. Strength and courage fill my body cells. Try not to come too far forward. Notice what happens when we affirm those qualities of strength and courage, and of course, we all need that. big doses, big medicine prescription. Inhale, coming back up, and W arms. Float the arms down, soften the knees, maybe step the feet a little bit wider, circle, flow, fluidity, and stability. Over back and forth, and now we'd like to go upward to where the shoulders, and then the eye gaze is following, twisting the spine, looking around. Great. And then expanding out, bringing the hands together. And here we go into a vinyasa flow as promised. So I'm going to face this angle, bringing those maybe individuals or the collective to mind as we tap into the heart, the spiritual eye, around the awakening of higher consciousness within yourself and all beings. Swan diving forward. Forward fold. Shake out the, maybe even massage the scalp. Awake my brain, be wise, be strong. Awake my brain, be wise, be strong. Using our brilliant brains. Inhale, scoop out the low, then upper back. Exhale, we're going to step it back to our wonderful downward facing dog. Full body stretch. So let's really tread it out. Bend the right knee, magnetize the chest toward the thighs. Press into the base of the fingers, feel the head to tail connected. In our down dog, shifting left knee at your own pace and timing. Calm energy radiates through every cell of my body, every fiber of my being. The pranayama, the breath practices, help us to neutralize and to come back to that calm state where we're much more clear. And now let's ripple, let's bend the knees and come into plank for a moment. And a half push up, come back, strength, and then ripple back. So let's do a couple more of those. So at your own pace and timing, you're gonna come into your, ripple into your plank. Don't collapse head or tail, your belly, come back. And ripple through. Ooh. And as we swirl, then we find our head to tail connection, reach through the heels, hip bones to heels. And half chaturanga, half push up basically, and back, strength pose. And here we are, all meeting in downward facing dog together. Treading it out. And let's take it all the way down. So you can do knee, chest, chin chaturanga or classic chaturanga all the way down. All right, feet hip width apart. Let's get the flow going. And our shoulders, backing side to side. You can lift up one elbow. I'm bringing the arms out to the side much more. At first, get the fluidity. Shoulders could be such an area of protection when we're in fear, right? We clutch in like this. We're opening now. Hopefully that's not going on in this moment. And then we're going to find that support by pressing through the tops of the feet. Now we bring our elbows in into either our half cobra, Bhujangasana, or full cobra. You decide what works for you today. Inhaling, coming up. If you want, all the way up, lion's breath. Stick out the tongue, eye gaze up. Rising up. And clarifying our speech and actions with the lion's breath. Good. Knees touch down. And we're going to reverse it. Belly touches, and then the heart, and then the chin gently tucks, so the spiritual eye. We can just rest here for a moment. Large toes in, heels apart, and breathe. So feel the fullness of the inhale. And that letting go, surrendering, accepting what we can't control. Non-attachment. I am not a pro at non-attachment. It's a work in progress. But every breath can be that. Every breath, every exhale can be that letting go. That like we said last week, that cut in the mind's activity. All right. Let's do another cobra, our friend. We're going to, well, let's do a locust. Locust is arms down by your side, still pressing through the feet, heart lifting, head lifting. And now we're gonna float on our wings of joy. Legs are gonna lift, feet are gonna lift up. And then they're gonna touch down. If possible, you're gonna interlock and stretch. Open through the throat, and you can add the lion's breath if you want here. A little different. Slight adjustment. And then ease. Ease down. Again, take one full yogic breath. We'll get used to taking these deep yogic breaths, lengthening the exhale much longer than the inhale if you can. Even slightly longer than the inhale will help. The rest and digest. And then here we go, we're rising up again. We're bringing our hands underneath the shoulders, elbows in, knees either off or on the ground. One lion's breath. And knees touch down, ease back to our friendly cat. Turning the toes under, walking the hands back, rounded opposite. We're always looking at these opposites. Tucking and rounding, and then the scooping. No. Then upper back, looking over the right shoulder, and then over the left, and then you flow with the side to side. You can do a hip or a hip and a head. If the head makes you dizzy, you can just keep it fairly stable as you flow into your hip opener. And then we're going to hover, stabilize, hover our knees off the ground. Couple breaths here. Feel the core strength. Draw that core strength back, the navel to the spine. You may not think about that in down dog. Draw it back, tread it out. And start to walk your feet in, your hands in, into a forward fold. Uttanasana. I relax and cast aside any mental burdens that I can't control, that don't serve me. And if it's helpful in particular areas in your life, to write down what you can control, that really helps to ground it and return to that on a written paper, or maybe your visual, write a picture of that, or draw a picture of that. Really helps to come back to what we can control. As we come up in Uttanasana, bend the knees, spine straight, strength pose, inhale, chair pose. Breathing in, slicing through what we can't control. Inhale, opening up to what we can. Do that a couple times, slicing through, letting go, releasing, and rising up to what we can. So we could do that mentally, we could add the physicality to it. We could add what's called the narrative piece, writing out, the visual piece, drawing. All those things help stabilized where we can control. Lifting off the heels. Coming down. Ooh, rooting, yielding, supported, feeling that energy connection through this vast, it's not just the floor, of course, it's the earth that's supporting us all. Let's add mudra. So very basic, we do it every time, down dog, up dog, most times. Lengthening back to our posture, lengthening up through the crown, tailbone gently draw down for most people. Heart open, shoulders relaxed, chin parallel. Not overdoing it in your knees either. I forgot to talk about that. That's one that can happen. Okay, so you see what happens with that. So left side bend of the knees. Mountain pose. Stable and yet rising like our chakras. We're going higher as we get to the upper chakras. Thank goodness. Okay, we're going to do our balance here and then a little bit of challenging side stretch series. So let's shift our weight. Now we did figure 4. You may not think of it standing like this. It's a variation like tree pose. So you can tap into a chair or the wall and root down. And if possible, that right foot comes up. The difference here in tree pose, of course, we go here. Think of placing, if possible, your foot on your thigh, like a half lotus standing. We did this, believe it or not, on the ground. And then we're drawing that right knee down, okay, as much as we can. In our half lotus standing. Now you can stay here, you're affirming calmness and poise, even though you may be wobbling. Maybe the arms come up, maybe not. Maybe you stay with holding that foot. Breathing in, breathing out, adding your own affirmation here. What speaks to you right now? Hear the sound of the breath. Arms come out. All right. We lift up. We plant down. We circle around. Again, more, to me, a little bit more challenging than the tree pose. It may be different for you. Now you got the different sides. So feeling the right leg rooting down. And then looking at a point in front of you, I forgot the drishti gaze. Using a wall or a chair. It's our friend. Props are our friend. And we lift the left knee up. Now you can always do variations, of course, regular tree, or the invitation is the half lotus, holding on to that foot, drawing that left thigh down if possible. We'll be rocking and rolling going on here, but we're working on finding our center. Again and again, amidst life storms. Now I can feel my arms want to move out. I feel like I'm going to fall. So I'm going to stay here on this side. Feels better to do this pose like this on this side. If your arms want to come up, let's drive it out. Affirm. I'm calm, I'm poised. Even if I fall out, I'm affirming. Amidst life storms, I could come back to my center. All the spiritual practices seem to be about that, in my understanding. All kinds of different ways to get there. All right, and releasing. Lifting the knee. And either shaking or swirling it out. Very good. Okay. Let's continue our flow. So what we're going to do here is we're going to open up wide. And we're going to turn our left foot out to the side, our right foot in. Well, actually, when we do this, what I want you to do is take it into a more of the hips squared toward the front of your mat. I'm changing midstream again. So the left hip back, right hip forward. We're going to do our eagle arms with our Virabhadrasana one legs. So to get the eagle arms, you open up and you bring your right elbow underneath your left. If that's too much, you do this, okay? Get those elbow tips lifted up. Now track that knee over the second toe. I need to walk my foot forward more to do that. Frontal facing hips. Maybe it's better if I angle it. Yeah, eagle arms, warrior one legs, okay? We're gonna pulse it up, add a back bend, and then exhale, draw your forearms toward the knee. They don't have to touch, okay? We're just pulsing with it. And we're affirming, I attune my will to the source of all power. Strong. You can do the classic Virabhadrasana one if this is too much on your shoulders with the eagle arms. I attune my will. You can stay with the eagle arms. I'm just going to demonstrate to the source of all power. The classic way, like this, if that works better for you. Or the eagle arms. Now we're all going to meet with the arms opening and then reaching back behind us for the interlock, tracking that knee forward. Again, this is a strong series meant to be cultivating strength as we come forward into surrender with strength. So our legs are strong. We're bowing to the wisdom of the heart. Remember, surrender and letting go. It can bring up a lot of things for people that they don't like, but think of it really as that it takes strength to surrender and let go. Maybe that's helpful. Inhale, coming up. And both are playing here. Yin yang is both going on here. Release. Turn the toes in before we go the other side. Face this direction. Woo. Arms out in star. Hands to the hips. Hinging forward in our forward fold. Hands sliding down the sides of the legs to the outer ankles. Draw the navel to the spine. Really get that core fired up. Again, bowing to the wisdom of the heart, relaxing what we can't control. The yogis promise us learning to surrender. It's an art. It's an art. And move to greater freedom. As I allow myself to release and surrender, I move into greater freedom. Now, bring the hands on the hips, slight bend of the knees. Coming up. Coming up, watch the head rush. Woo, shoulders soften. Arms out. Let's take a moment to come back to mountain with the hand above the navel and the other below the navel. Really gets into that diaphragmatic breathing. Make all the necessary adjustments, keeping it simple, head to tail connected, head lengthening up, chin parallel. Oops. Rooting down to that overarching in the back. And feeling the support of the earth, literally. When we're tight in the knees, we don't feel that support. Hopefully you're really feeling that connection to the diaphragm. Wonderful. We're going to open up and, of course, go into our series we did to the other side. So your choice as you move into either eagle arms or the classic opening. So we're going to turn and have the right knee bent, left foot at a 30-degree angle, frontal facing hips. And tailbone gently down. Core active here, so we may not think of it, but keep drawing. As the tailbone draws down, you can press the navel toward the spine. Okay, arms reach up. A left elbow, if you're doing eagle arms, underneath the right. Move down a little bit. If you're doing the classic, arms out to the side. But you're lifting the tips of the elbows on the inhale. I attune my will, exhale, to the source of all power. 3 times. at your pace, probably different than mine. I attune my will to the source of all power. And again, or the classic, opening the heart, I attune my will to the source of all power. Now, as we open up, we're going to angle our upper body. Watch that the knee doesn't poke forward, it loves that. We're going to reach behind us. We're going to open the heart. Feel the strength from the core through the legs as you come forward. As that right shoulder either glazes inside the knee or can rest gently. Knuckles up to the spine, crown of the head toward the earth. Feeling the strength and the letting go. It takes strength to let go. It may seem like a paradox. That works for you. Allowing ourselves to accept our best laid plans may not come to fruition. As we inhale. And we track that knee over. So we come up and strong. Turn the toes in. Woo. Feel some heat there. Start pose. And we're going to just bring it together. Your body, your choice. Either hand placement above or below the navel. And then the heart. What feels best to you as you come back to mountain? Open through the crown, open through the elements. Almost full moon. Connect to the earth and everything in between. We talked about it in the past class. The elements in our body are the elements all around us. Earth, water, fire, ether, and this air, the prana quality. Okay. We're going to do one more standing pose flow. Now this is going to be triangle pose with a balance pose. And so it's, you're welcome to use the wall. I'm going to use a block. So if you're using the wall, you step a little bit away from the wall and it'll be just there when we go into our Adho Chandrasana on one leg. So we'll do our Trikonasana first, a wide stance. The left toes open up, right foot at 30 degrees. And here we got the fluidity. Shoulders, elbows, wrists. Now find the stability. Now you decide, do the palms want to be open? Feel that. Now, or do you need more grounding? Or boundaries, more rooting. So play with that. Do I need to be more expansive in this moment or in this time of my life? Do I need more stability, grounding, rooting? Okay. You're going to reach out and open up. You're going to hinge on the side here without, try not to collapse all down on this left side. Bringing our hand lightly on the shin. I'm going to move my block. You can bring it to the little toe side or the instep of your foot. Now we're opening the heart and we're opening the connection from heart to hands, stacking those shoulders, tracking the head to tail connection. Here's our posture alignment in this pose. Head to tail, track the chin in. The headlights go forward. I forgot to say that. For most people, we need to draw that chin in. And then open to the energy and joy. Fill my body cells. If you want to circle, you can. Energy and joy. Fill my body cells. Open into the joy kosha. Thank goodness that's within us. And then we move into our balance pose. So what I like to do on this, I like to bring my hand back around and bend the left knee. And then I'm going to place my block diagonal to the little toe side of the foot. And step my back foot behind the heel. And then see if I get some lift off here. You could stay here, looking in front of the toes quite a bit. Eye gaze, or you can slowly unravel. And opening up as I expand fully into this present moment. I expand fully into this present moment, wherever I'm bringing to it. I'm opening up to it. Head to tail connected again. See how that works? And then I slowly come down, put the hand on the hip. I reverse it, I step it down. I walk it back a little bit into our peaceful warrior. Yeah, this is strong stuff on the legs today, as warriors are. And reaching up with that knee back. And then coming forward. Bring the hands to the heart. And then moving into the other side. So we're going to move the block, of course. But instep or the little toe side of the foot for our triangle Trikonasana, wonderful side stretch. And our Ardha Chandrasana on one leg, half moon opening up. Okay, breathing in, finding the fluidity, the play, the joy. Let's not forget that as the heart expands. And do you want the palms down and palms up? And then what we're going to do is we're going to reach over. Try not to overdo it in this knee. Engage that thigh, drawing up. After about 50, most of us want a slight bend of the knee because it's just too much on the meniscus all around that. And then opening up, I'm adding mudra here, head to tail connected, core strength, navel to the spine. Okay, core is always active. Energy and joy fill my body cells. Do we want to add the utthita, the extension, and the circling, or stay with the stability? Energy and joy fill my body cells. Joy kosha is alive within me, and I'm looking for it around me. Gratitude practices, right? You know about those. And then here we go into our another balance pose here. We're going to look over that right shoulder. Bend the right knee, take your block diagonal to the little toe, and step your back foot in. Look in front of the right toes and see if we can get lift off here. Have the wall behind you. Tap into it. Maybe see how you feel. You'll get a sense here if you want to open that arm up or not, as you gently gaze slightly forward. Out of the mat to the side, I should say. I expand fully in this moment. Expand fully into this moment. What does that mean for you? Expand fully into this moment. And then we ease down. We have the hand touch down, step down. Take your time for peaceful warrior coming up. Track that knee over the second toe. This principle stay the same as we reach up and over in a peaceful warrior. And coming forward. Hands on the hips. We're going to come forward. Slide the wrists underneath the shoulders. Exhale. Touch. May not touch the crown, but we're shaking our head gently. Then again, releasing. Letting go what we can't control. Control what we can. We know the serenity, forever wisdom to work with your friends. And lengthen it up. Okay, stepping together into a squat. It just came to me now, the wisdom to know the difference. Sometimes we, I don't know, maybe that's a process too. Sometimes it's clearer and sometimes it's not, of what we can and we can't let go. So, but that's all of our journeys to find that wisdom. Some things will be easier than others, situations and circumstances and people. Lengthening your feet, lengthening up. And then exhale, rounding like we started. Remember, way back. And now core strength as we shimmy, shake down. Go back. Move that. Upper back, press through the feet. Sweep the arms up. And then the arms out to the side. As we draw the knees in. And rocking side to side. Pull it down. Eventually, we got to end. Often we do with a twist. Before we do that, let's just keep activating the core. Now, this one, so many ways to do that. We're going to flex back, navel to the spine. We're going to heel tap. So what does that mean? The right heel comes down, the left arm reaches back. Keep the low back plugged in. Inhale back. Switch. Or inhale, exhale in your own pace and timing. Just make sure you do an opposite and keep that low back plugged in. So the opposite arm's reaching back, the opposite heel is tapping down. And we know what that does for neural nets of our brain. Keeping the core strength. It's a lot to keep that low back on the ground, isn't it? When you finish on each side, draw the knees in again. So many ways to play with the core as we're doing our poses and then classical work, back strengthening work. We're going to draw that right knee in. We're going to extend that left leg out. If there is low back issues, then you keep that left knee bent. Okay. And we circle the knee around again. Hydrating. Big exhales as we move into our twist. I like to plant that foot down and swivel the hips to the right. The left arm reaches over toward the right knee. We go back and forth. That right knee, right shoulder. And as you know, you could stay here with the knee bent, or you could use the wall to extend that leg, but then the left toes come in, the inner thighs are active, the core is active. So we're not just kind of falling out here, we're active in the legs, in the core, and then across the heart, in the arms. First, the head is in line with the spine. Then if your neck's okay, you look over toward this right hand and you let the head flow as that arm flows. As we affirm, one of my favorite affirmations is divine light is within me and all around me. Divine light is within me and all around me. Just really taking that in. Not only on a mental level, but perhaps looking around you, feeling and sensing what's in you. Tune into something that's animating our individual self. Yoga, union, infinite is here, always. Where's the individual? We're going to soften that right knee. And we're going to fold back, and we're going to open up and descend that right leg down and just enjoy for one breath cycle before we go to the twist to the other. Feel the medicine of the full yogic breath. Of that way to let go. And then we'll bend the left knee, a swivel, And bring that left knee down, left shoulder, back and forth, hydrating. As we either stay with the knee bent or extended, the core is active. The right toes come up, the navel draws toward the spine. We're pressing through that right elbow. We're opening the heart. We're looking over, if your neck's okay, to the left hand. And we're allowing this left arm to come up and over. Rainbow arc. Divine light is within me and is all around me. Life is within me and is all around me. So affirmation absolutely raises our vibration. This is back into that higher alignment, softening what we can control, bending that left knee, adjusting onto the spine, descending that left leg, opening life force, prana, divine life within and all around. And as the focus, one of the focuses today, the hand below the navel, the hand above the navel, and feel on the next inhale. 2, 3, 4. Gently hold. 3, 4, 5. Exhale through the nose. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Another cycle that works for you. Hold, and then exhale longer than the inhale. There's nothing left to do. You get to go and be in Shavasana, so sense and feel what would be restorative for you today. You have a ball, you can put your feet just in a mat on the ball, bolster, legs up the wall, get comfortable. And we'll drink if your water's close by or whatever works for you. You can also do Supta Baddha on the ball too. So you move it around and you're restorative in our Shavasana. Oh. Okay, moving to restoration from yes, allowing ourselves to truly let go. Getting situated. And getting any supports that you need. As I get situated as well. Okay. So we're going to do a top-down approach to our restorative relaxation. If you're in a position to ease the head from side to side, go ahead and do that. And finding your head in alignment at some point. And if it's helpful to add what's called an inner resource, that means a place where you could be right now in your home, where you feel safe and secure, or a place in nature. And feel from your
forehead to the chin, a softening and an ease, letting the face relax. Allowing the eyelids to get heavy as they rest, not looking outwardly, and tuning in. And maybe even just gently focusing at the point between the eyebrows, just softly focusing there as you feel the cool air come in through the nostrils, maybe coolness at the spiritual eye, and the warm cooked air coming out of the nostrils. This is one way to move into non-dual awareness. In duality, we know on this earth plane, and we have practices where we can neutralize duality. The two become one. If you want to exaggerate a yawn, you're welcome to with that sound, that sound. Letting go. Surrendering what we can. Restoring our connection to an enduring, vast, silent source. That's the meaning of the Gayatri mantra. Responding to life with an open heart and mind as we soften the shoulders and breathe into the heart. Non-attachment and surrender. Surrendering the resistance to what is. And that's a process. And then draw an imaginary line down the middle of the body and just really live in that solar side, the right side, more so. The right arm, the right side of the torso, the right leg, the right hip. Just feel that flow of breath and prana moving through the solar side of the body. And then gently shift to the lunar. Bring more awareness to the left arm, left side of the torso, the left hip, the left leg, left foot, lunar, symbolic of the witness and observer. You're aware of what's happening in the personal life and the collective life. Remember, pure awareness is not judgmental. It's not judging what it's doing. It's allowing everything to be there. Just as it is, and just as it isn't. And then coming into the central channel, if you'd like to bring the hands in the placement you like with that diaphragmatic breathing, whatever works best to you. Get a sense of the central channel and the breath movement. And next inhale, just allowing the belly, diaphragm to expand, quiet down. You can gently hold and hold longer, it's up to you. And the exhalation, the letting go, magic words of allowing and just being. To surrender and restore our connection to enduring, vast, silent source. And that source is already whole, already free, already aware. That awareness, that consciousness is in everyone and everything. And as always, you're welcome to stay and deep restoration if that's the space you're in Shavasana. Or you're welcome to gently transition onto your side, slowly and gradually, or in any way you like. Or maybe reflecting on an inquiry as you're transitioning, what you have learned in this past year and a half. And it could be many things, but see what just springs up. And as we're transitioning, of course, this is our time to send those prayers of care to others, as well as on the mat and in our practice and in our life. But it's always great to consciously have that energetic prayers of care by visualizing those people you would like to send healing energy to. Maybe rubbing your hands together, maybe not, whatever feels right to you. As you hear the Om sound, that vibrational 3-syllable sound that contains the sound of the entire universe in these 3 syllables. Inhale. Slow inhale again. And one more time. And if you like, bringing the hands in namaste, acknowledging that divine awareness within you and again within everyone and everything. I will end the recording part of the class, and then those of you who want to stay muted and ease out, you're welcome to. Those who want to check in after, you're certainly welcome to do that as well, whatever works for you.